Welcome back to Project Joy Live. I'm your host, Jessica Dugas. Today is Tuesday, June 14th, 2022, and I hope you're finding something to be joyful about and celebrate today. I'm really excited because we have a returning guest on the Breakthrough Show Network this morning. He was on My Way a couple weeks ago, and he is the author of The 9 Money Rules Millionaires Use, but only the unconventional ones. He is the money doctor, and I'm excited to dive into money mindset this morning because I think it's a great way to start your day. So without further ado, let's welcome Joel Solomon to the show. Good morning, Joel.
Good morning, Jessica. Thanks so much for having me on. It's a great pleasure and honor to be here today. Thank you so much.
Of course, I'm excited to have you back on. A little bit of a different vibe we have going on the early mornings. We're trying to get in that good vibe of the day and finding something to be joyful about and celebrate. So, what's bringing you joy today, Joel?
Well, you bring me joy. So thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate your show. I also have a morning routine as well. And we can talk about that, but it starts out with meditation and I do my affirmations. I practice what I preach. So what I teach my clients, I actually execute every day, exercise, visualize, journal. So it's really, really important to have a morning routine to lift yourself up. I know a lot of people don't enjoy getting up first thing in the morning. So having a morning routine, I used to call we talk about mindset. It's a key to your whole life.
Yeah.
And I used to say to myself, I'm not a morning person. Well, how is that serving you? Right. So now I say I am a person and I can be a morning person and a night person.
Yeah. You can be whatever kind of person you want. That's the beauty of creating the kind of life that you want. And I think, it's very true. We say things to ourselves and, truthfully, I don't know how much you know about the history of this show in particular, but when I created it 3 seasons ago, I said, it was only on Monday morning. And the reason I chose Monday morning is because everyone complains about Monday morning, whether it's the morning or just it being a Monday. And I said, no, we're going to fix this really quickly. And so, I said, I tend to be that pattern interrupt for people.
Yeah. Think about it. If you don't like Mondays, 14% of your life, you don't like.
I mean,
that's kind of crazy, right? So you're like, and I remember when I was doing my first dream job, working at Citigroup as a hedge fund manager and commuting downtown and getting on that subway at an hour and a half before now, about 6:45 Eastern, and getting into the train on the subway and being so excited because I was doing my dream job and checking out the stock prices and what was in the news that day. And you look around the train and everyone's with their they don't want to be there. They're so unhappy. They're so upset and pissed off that they have to be up that early. And this, a lot of people are not enjoying their life. Yeah. So I appreciate what you're doing here, lifting people up, bringing some joy to those who maybe not enjoying every single moment of their life. Well, they need to start changing that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It ties in a little bit too. We had a guest on last month. Her name's Shifra, and we were talking about mattering and mattering as people, but then also examining the things that matter to us. And she said, look, when you get up in the morning, if you don't have that purpose, that feeling of that thing, something you're supposed to do and you're excited about life, like you're just not going to get up out of the bed in the same way. And so I think that's really important for us to do that, but also that money routine, mindset routine, morning routine. It's all the M routine. I think they're so important in the morning to get us up and get us going as well. So I'll be excited to dive into a little bit about what yours looks like as well. But that happiness piece that you talk about is actually something that you mention in the 9 Money Rules Millionaires Use. Now, full disclaimer, I haven't read cover to cover yet, but I have done some reading in here and really enjoying what's there. And like I said, some of it came as a little bit of a surprise to me because I think a lot of times when we go into reading a book about money, we expect the typical, this is how much you save, this is what you invest in, this is what you do. And it's more than that. So start us off by saying, how did you get to this place where this became a book that you wanted to even write?
That's a great question. So when I shut down my hedge fund, I knew I wanted to give the world some of the lessons that I had learned managing hundreds of millions of dollars at Citi and while managing my own hedge fund. And so I thought it was important to put some of those lessons into a book. So my first book, Mindful Money Management, was more of a memoir. And I got a lot of good feedback, but some of the feedback I got was, you have a lot of interesting takes on money in this book. It'd be great to put together a book about the rules that you use while you're managing large amounts of money and infuse your spiritual processes and aspects into how it helped you. And so that was the reason why I wrote the 9 Money Rules Millionaires Use. So that was the impetus of it. And yeah, I think I've learned that without the spiritual foundational grounding of the mindset piece, it doesn't matter what I teach on the process piece. And so there's 2 parts to the book, right? Part 1 is the spiritual laws and part 2 is the processes. And it's interesting, there's 6 in the first part and 3 rules in the second part. So you see where I am kind of weighted 2/3, 1/3 towards the spiritual mindset rules. And happiness is one of those. The title of the chapter is, Can Happiness Buy You Money? Not can money buy you happiness, can happiness buy you money? And of course, it's a rhetorical question. And I go through a story in that chapter and how on July 1st, 2015, I was literally in tears as I was on the Metro North train coming into Manhattan while I was managing my hedge fund, because I had just gotten news from a colleague of mine that one of the stocks we were betting was going to go down was actually going to be up 30% that day. And I was going to be losing millions of dollars for my investors.
Wow.
And I literally felt pain in my stomach. I was literally going to throw up. I was just so upset because I felt like I had failed them. I felt like I wasn't worthy of anything. And I'm sure a lot of listeners have felt this way sometime in their life, that, no matter what you do, nothing was going to change that. And I don't know why, but for some reason on that train that morning, you talked about your Spotify money list songs. I put on a song called Ooh Child by the 5 Stairsteps.
I know that song.
Ooh Child, things are going to get easier. Ooh Child, things are going to get better someday.
Yeah.
And it stopped me from crying. I wasn't like joyous, but at least it stopped me from crying. And when I got into my office a half an hour later, I took the song off my headphones so that my colleagues could hear, because they knew how bad a day it was going to be that day. It was going to be our worst day managing money, my personal worst day. And so it made me feel a little better. And then I realized, well, wow, this is creating some happiness in my life. What else can I do? Because the rest of the day wasn't much better. So and looking at the screen and seeing the money going away was not helpful. So I started putting together a list in July, and the next few days weren't much better. And in terms of making money, and I put together a list of things that made me feel happy. So happy habits. Well, so what are your happy habits, right? So write down a list of things that can make you unconditionally happy. For me, besides inspiring, uplifting songs, by the way, which I start my morning with right after I meditate, the next thing I do is I put on my 5 uplifting songs while I exercise. And so what else can you do? For me, it's also exercise. For me, it's going for a jog. It's spending time with my daughters, Lauren and Morgan. It's, I like to just be outside in nature, just feel the sun. So I recommend to your listeners to write down a list of happy habits. And when you're not feeling so great, do those so that you can, because you create your emotions, whether you know it or not. You don't have to respond to anyone else's. but you can create your own and have go-to things that you
Right.
do. Maybe it's for you, it's getting a mani-pedi.
Mm.
Maybe it's getting a massage. Maybe it's hanging out with your cat or dog and getting, petting them.
Yeah.
But figure out what they are. And so when you're not feeling so great, you can have those go-to things ready, all available for you.
Yeah, I love those ideas, and I think this speaks to, we talked about morning routine a little bit, and I mentioned it yesterday, that we talked about it yesterday as well. So it varies for a person. So like I do, jogging and running is not happening here unless I'm being chased by a T-Rex. I'm just telling you. And I don't know. So, but it varies per person. It's so important for us to spend that time, I think, to try to find those things. Like, what are the things that make us the most happy, and don't do something just because the biggest guru tells you this is what you need to do.
Absolutely. It's all personal. So that's why I say make your own
Yeah.
list. And
Yeah.
and the punchline, by the way, is that in July and August and September of 2015, I had my best 2 months managing money
Mm.
relative to the stock market index. My fund was up 3%, the market was down 9. So I outperformed by 12% those 2 months. And I truly
Nice.
believe, because I created these happy habits, which included, spending time with my daughters, going on a vacation with them. I spent 2 weeks away from the screen looking at those stock tickers going up and down for the first time in my career. And what happened? I was
Mm.
calm, I was relaxed when the world seemed to be imploding, and we did well. So, and
Yeah.
I don't believe that's a coincidence. So I truly believe there's a correlation between, if you could be happy more in your life, then you'll produce more abundance and prosperity in your life.
Right, right. I agree 100%. I don't want to give away the whole book, but there's a couple things that I wanted to touch on here, because I know who's in our audience this morning. I know a couple of our friends out there this morning consider themselves to be very intuitive. They're amazing and very connected spiritually. And one of your rules is, can my intuition make me money? Can you touch a little bit on about that and what you mean by that?
Yeah, so I probably the only former hedge fund manager that will tell you that you should trust your intuition. I don't think there's any financial advisor planner out there that will tell you, hey, go by your feelings.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, as a former hedge fund manager, that if I didn't trust my intuition, I either made less money or I lost money. And my clients ask me, so Joel, how do you develop your intuition? And I tell them it's just like any other muscle. I used to go to the gym and do my bicep curls
Yeah.
to do my dumbbells to develop my bicep. Well, you can develop your intuition by using it every chance you get.
Hmm.
Say
So
you're
important.
say you're in the subway station, you're on the platform, and there's a local train sitting there. Now, unfortunately, New Yorkers will get this, maybe not the rest of the world. There's a local train sitting there, and there's an express coming in just a few minutes. What do? Local, express, local. What do? You trust your intuition.
Yeah.
Now, every Thursday morning, I used to take my daughters to school, and we had options. We could take the local roads, we could take the highway, or we could hitchhike. Just kidding.
Don't recommend. Don't recommend. No, don't try this at home, boys and girls.
So generally, when we were going to school, taking them to school, I would take the highway. But there was one particular morning, the highway was all backed up with traffic. Now, my intuition was telling me to take the highway, but my intellect said, no, Joel, go local. So
Mm.
what did I do? I went local. And immediately, my stomach's in knots, because I heard the sirens, I see the flashing lights. And because I didn't trust my intuition, it cost me a $150 speeding ticket. And to this day, my daughters tease me and call me Speedy Pants.
I mean, listen, it can be challenging as we're listening to our intuition, and other people around us maybe are not accustomed to that, or they're not open to that, and they will be like, well, you're being ridiculous right now, and don't, what are you doing? And, we've even gotten some of those comments as we've gone to sell our house, and just like people will just randomly message. And I think people have, they have our best interest. They don't want to, they want to see us do good things, but it can be a blow to our high in the moment to have people be like, well, you're just being foolish.
Absolutely. And so let me give you an investment example related to
Mm.
intuition. So it was early in 2008. You remember 2008 was not the best year in the stock market, but we found a stock we thought was overvalued. So we bet it was going to go down. And as we bet the stock was going to go down, we actually made some money in a couple of months. But then my analyst looked at it and said, "Oh, it looks like it's going back up." But my intuition was telling me that it's going lower. But I listened to my intellect and we got out. And then just a couple of days later, it's down 5% more, which if you annualize that, it's like 10 times your money. Now, my intuition was still screaming at me, it's going lower. So we got back in, we bet again that it was going to go lower. And 4 months later, we had made 60% on our money by trusting our intuition.
Wow. Yeah, and I think even surrounding ourselves with people who have stories like this can get us into that place of, number one, trusting our own intuition more. But again, I still think where money is concerned, that vibration is so important, of joy, of happiness, of trust, of, those good feelings are so important for us. When you go into, obviously you talk about other things in that first part, what being grateful, giving money away. You talk about, I don't want to give away too much, but then when you get into the next part of the book, you start talking about some of those processes and things that you actually can do. And so the one part that stuck out to me is, can you really do it yourself, DIY? Because I think, especially as we're talking, we have a lot of entrepreneurs out here who watch the show, who, we start our business and we're literally doing everything ourselves. So when we talk about finances, business, house, we're doing it all. And it can be challenging for us to start to delegate a little bit. And then because we don't, then we become pretty type A and we need to do everything ourselves. And it's hard to delegate later on. But talk a little bit about doing what do you mean by the DIY where your finances are concerned?
Yeah, so I think rule number one, by the way, is when you believe, right?
Mm.
And so belief is so critical in all aspects of your life, and especially in regards to money. So most people are taught what I believe is a lie, and I'm going to be controversial as a former money manager,
Mm.
but we're taught that we can't do it ourselves, that we have to give our money to somebody else to manage because we're not smart enough,
Right.
we don't have the time, we don't have enough money. You need to have tens of thousands of dollars to manage your own money. Just give it to somebody else if you don't. And all these are limiting beliefs.
Mm.
And so why not have an empowering belief to say that I can do it myself? And, I've met a lot of people who, and it's picking what you're passionate and interested in. It doesn't mean, the next rule is don't diversify, which is also blasphemous to the professional money manager.
I told you, you're the first one that I've ever heard say that.
Right. So, but I will tell individuals that, if you're passionate about real estate, or if you're passionate about stocks, or you're passionate, whatever your interest is, and it could be a business, right? It could be your own business. And a lot of people have made a ton of money. The richest people in the world, I believe, haven't diversified their money and put all their chips on what their business is. and then they started their own business, and they, think of Elon Musk and Bill Gates and, so on, Steve Jobs and Warren Buffett, all put all their eggs in one basket, themselves and their business.
Yep.
So what are you passionate about? You can do it yourself, and you can invest in your business, or you can invest in real estate or stocks or bonds or whatever you find that's really most interested to you. I'm not saying invest in bonds today, by the way.
Yeah.
But so find out what you're passionate about. You can do it yourself, right? You can learn. There's so much information on the internet for free these days. You might want to check out Joel Solomon's YouTube channel. He has over 450 videos.
Oh, I know him.
So there's a lot of information out there on that you can get for free on investing, on starting your own business, on growing your business. And yes, I know a lot of us don't want to delegate, but when I was managing my hedge fund, when I started and I started talking to investors, they said, so who's going to do the books? Or who's going to do the accounting? I said, I can, I'm an actuary. This is easy for me. It's just, calculating how much the stocks have gained and lost. It's simple. And they're like, no, you're going to be managing the money. You need somebody else to do this. Otherwise, we're not investing with you. So I needed to learn how to delegate and hire somebody else, a chief financial officer, to do all those other things so I could do what I loved. So think about in your business how you could delegate. And nowadays, there's so many people around the world that love to do things that you may not be expert at, or it's be better to delegate. And think about the return on investment of your time. Right. So it's better to delegate to somebody somewhere around the globe for you to spend more time doing what you love, what your purpose is. And I think about this every day as I'm still haven't delegated all of my business that doesn't include the content and the coaching, because that's taking away from helping more people that I want to help become financially free.
Right. It ties into that happiness piece that you're talking about. If you as you're an entrepreneur, there's so many little things, there's social media and emails and just advertising, so many things. And as you go through and do those things, I think it's helpful to think about yourself. Is this activity actually making me happy right now? And how much more time you have to do those happy things if you choose to delegate it out a little bit. But even tying in with this, what you were talking about, I was taught kind of by my grandparents that you need to have a financial advisor, that you need to have someone to help you through that. Now, I find that interesting looking back, because my grandfather was really good and smart with his money. And so it's funny to me that I don't know if he felt like he had to have the financial advisor, or I wish he was alive to where I can ask him, what was the reason? Did he feel like there was, he wasn't smart enough to do it, or what was the reason? But so I was kind of taught to have that. But then when we did have one for a period of time, I felt like I was still confused. I wasn't any better off. I was just doing what they said I should do.
Right. Yeah. I talk about that as well. I say to my clients, I take full responsibility for my life. I want you to take full responsibility for all aspects of your life. And you say, okay, I'm going to delegate, this aspect of my life to a financial advisor. But if that financial advisor loses you money, then you're going to blame him or her for that. No, you can't, because you chose them, right? You made the decision. So it's still your responsibility. So I say take full responsibility for all aspects of my life. And I will tell you that maybe your grandfather had some limiting beliefs,
right?
That you can't do it yourself, that you need, he was taught by somebody that you can't be a great investor yourself. But I will tell you, the richest people in the world have figured out how to do it themselves. And I will also tell you that if you say, oh, they're smarter than me, then you have a limiting belief, because they're not. I know a lot of rich people who are not the smartest people in the world. And they've made some amazing investments. I had somebody who I would talk to when I was managing my fund, and he would just look at a chart. He didn't know anything about the stock. He would say, oh, what is this AHL, American Hockey League? And I'm like, well, you don't know anything about the company, right? AHL is the stock symbol. But he looked at the chart and said, oh, it looks like it's going up. I'm going to buy this one. He used his intuition. So was he smarter? Maybe, by knowing that his intuition was powerful.
Yeah.
So again, you can do it yourself. No, it's not that somebody's smarter than you or less smart than you. It's if you believe in yourself, what are your limiting beliefs? Right? Another limiting belief may be that you have to work really, really hard to be rich and successful.
Yeah.
And I will say that's a limiting belief. In 2009, I made 10 times the amount of money I made in 2008 working half the hours. I figured out how to work smarter, more productively, have fun, and use the rules that are in this book, like happy habits, like gratitude, like giving, like visualizing,
Right.
to make a lot more money. And so that's why I recommend these techniques, because they work.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's so smart talking about the, even just that word of or that phrase of having to work hard. I think the majority of people I know have been taught that you have to work hard. And I think that, I think there's a difference between actually working hard and feeling like you've done good work. Like there's a difference between those things, and it doesn't have to be really hard. I want to touch briefly, because this is applying to us in our season of life at the moment. Chapter 6 in part 2 is real estate can make you rich. Make me feel good this morning, Joel. Build me up here with this.
Well, absolutely. I mean, again, I start the chapter by saying, what's your belief? Are you interested and passionate about learning about real estate? Because this chapter goes into a lot of depth and goes into looking at your cash on cash returns. Right? So we have a formula in that chapter to calculate what is your true return on your real estate investment. And it's important to understand, right? And it's also, so there's plenty of people who have become very, very rich through real estate. Yeah. And yet a buddy of mine, when he was reading this book and editing it for me, and a very smart guy, said, Joel, I don't think you should have this chapter in the book. Because think about all the people that lost a ton of money from 2007 to 2010 in the Northeast investing in real estate. So he has a limiting belief that you can't make money in real estate. But I will tell you, there's a ton of people that made many multiples of their initial investment if they had invested in real estate between 2002 and 2006 or 7 down in the Southeast. And again, by the way, in Austin, Texas, between 2020 and 2022, people have doubled their money in 2 years. Wow. Now, so you can make a ton of money in real estate. It's a lot about timing. It's location. But I go through in this chapter 7 specific steps in a 7-step real estate screen, and go through those steps, because that will determine if you're going to make money in the real estate investment. So they're very simple steps. Like, start out, if you're looking to invest in real estate, in your area. Your area the best. Don't go to, somewhere in Iowa. Now, I'm not going to, unless you're in Iowa. I was actually talking to a woman yesterday in Des Moines. So if you're in Des Moines, invest in Des Moines. But if you're not in Iowa, or, if you're in Connecticut, or if you're in Alabama, look at the areas there. Yeah. And invest, based on what you know, right? And so and so I jog around my residential area every day. I see the houses that are put on the market, the houses that are taken off, because I'm jogging 3 to 4 miles. So I see, what the listings are just by jogging around. And so I see how long they're on the market. So I see how the real estate's market in my area better than any other area. So go through the 7 steps first, do that screen, and you can do it for any area, but I recommend starting small with a radius around your home or around your apartment first. Or if you're looking to buy in a different area, then do a lot of research, spend time in that area first. Right. And that's the way to invest.
Yeah. Yeah. I love those ideas, and I'm definitely going to go through that list that you give in that chapter, which will be very helpful. I wanted to finish out our conversation in this segment, Joel, with maybe giving people a little bit of hope, because we have inflation going through the roof. Gas in Alabama is $4.63 this morning. That's like, people don't know what to do here. So, grocery store price, everything is insanity at the moment. And a lot of people are feeling scared. And a lot of people are feeling like, how can I possibly, work on my own money situation when all of this is going on around me? So I'd love for you to speak to our current circumstances right now and maybe give people some hope.
No, I look, it's difficult, right? I mean, here in the Northeast, it's $5.49. I mean,
Yeah.
and I talked about this with somebody else last week. Literally, people are going to the gas pump and paying $5, right? That they're buying basically 1 gallon of
Right.
gas. Um, and then going back maybe even later that day or the next day. So, I understand a lot of people living paycheck to paycheck, right? And so I'd urge you to reach out to me. I give everybody 1 hour free. I'd love to help more people, first of all. But second of all, yes, I understand, you're stretched thinner and thinner. And this may sound crazy, but I have the budget game in the 9 Money Rules Millionaires Use. So you can play this game. The idea is to shift your worry and fear about money to fun, to make it fun and expectation. Like you can say affirmations. There are audio files, by the way, on my website, salamour.com. That's SALAURMOR.com. Free audio files that you can download. So shifting your thoughts and feelings about money from worry and fear to expectation and fun can really make the money flow, believe it or not. So,
Mm.
and I'll say hashtag doubt the doubt, right? If you're doubting that can work, believe me, it does. So doubt your doubt, believe in the magic of the universe, of your power.
Yeah.
So there are basic little things you can do, right? So play the budget game. And what that budget game is like, if you have some debt outstanding on a credit card, if it's, your minimum monthly payment is $5, double it.
Mm.
Start doubling it, and I know you may say, wait, Joel, I don't have enough to pay all my expenses. And I know it may sound weird, but double it. Just double it. You'll feel differently,
Yeah.
right? And so that's one way. And there's an affirmation in the budget game in the book, but if anybody wants it, I'll share it with you as well. And the other thing, this is a really, really powerful technique I do with my clients, is rule number 6, which is giving.
Mm.
And I've done it in my life. I do it with my clients who are really feeling scarce and worried. Just give a little bit, right? And even if it's like $5 to your favorite charity,
Yeah.
or it doesn't even have to be money. You have some gift you want to share that with the world. Smile, give a smile to a
Yeah.
stranger, give a compliment to a stranger. When you're giving, you're shifting your subconscious mind to, I have plenty to spare and share.
Right. Yeah, I would agree 100% on that part, and can speak from my own experience that, my I can't believe, like, we're 4 days out from when we all had COVID last year. It will be a year, and my husband's lost his job twice since that time, and the one thing that we did that I think really helped us stay in that good mindset, and to me it's a good thing, was that there were two organizations that we were giving to on a regular basis. Those were two things that we didn't budget out when we continued our new budget. As our budget kept shifting, I said, no, we're going to make sure that we still do those giftings, and it made me feel good. It made me I mean, to me, it just was like, there was just not a question. And so, but you do have those moments where you're like, what, are we going to have bread tomorrow? What's going to happen here? But I really feel like those are the things that, as woo as it might sound, that kept us going and that have
Absolutely.
us in a good place now.
And understand, no matter how bad your situation is, if you're listening to this, you probably have a smartphone, you probably have a laptop, you probably have some other, maybe some iPad or some other instrument that you're using. There are billions of people around the globe that are suffering much worse. And I know, it doesn't make light of your situation.
Right.
I don't want to make light of your situation, but you are living the dream life of billions of people on this earth.
Yeah.
No matter how difficult your situation may be right now.
Right.
So if you can put that into your mind and realize that there are people who are suffering, who are actually literally not having 3 meals a day.
Right.
Who have to look for water, clean water. Like there are certain things we take for absolute granted in our lives, right? And so I have a client and he starts complaining to me about certain things, and he lives in Connecticut, which is maybe the richest state, and he has some first world problems, and I say, dude, like, please just give today. Find a charity, find some place where there's 99% of the world is living in a worse place than you are. There's got to be some place somewhere you can give to today to make, because it does shift your mindset. And I don't want to make light of, there's a lot of people out there suffering, and and inflation is a real thing, and it's cutting into people's savings. It's cutting into like other things that people are doing, and I understand that. But if you can, I will tell people, like, even when we're going into a recession or we're in a recession, it doesn't mean that you have to suffer. There are opportunities. If a great affirmation is lucrative opportunities always come my way. Lucrative opportunities always come my way. And if you can, and maybe if you don't believe it, I talk about belief and desire and affirmations, soften it. Say lucrative opportunities almost always are on my way, or I allow lucrative opportunities to come my way. So there are ways to soften it, because you don't want to say things that you're calling BS on yourself. Then this is happening. Nothing's happening when you do that. So you have to say affirmations that you have a belief of 7, 8, 9, or 10 on the scale of 1 to 10, where 10 is absolute faith and 1 is massive doubt.
Yeah. I appreciate you bringing that up as well, because that when I teach affirmations to people, that's exactly what I talk about. You can say in the mirror, I am healthy 150 times, but if you don't believe that, then it's not going to make any difference. You have to make it so you feel it. You have to really feel it and believe it. Mandy agrees with you as well this morning. So listen, guys, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to be back to finish out the show with Joel. We're going to let you know where you can find his book, The 9 Money Rules Millionaires Use, and get some final thoughts as well. We will be listening to my friend Greta's mix of the 4 Love poem this morning, and we'll be right back after this.
Je choisis l'amour.
Naponi Bolingo.
Crederò ancora nell'amore.
سأقف من أجل الحب.
Любовь моя крепость.
Je choisis l'amour, même le cœur lourd, même l'âme brisée.
Naponi Bolingo. Po mokili ya nse epanzana kaka te, po na ekolo mokie wangai, epai na bomba nzoto, epai nga nazali nde malamu, kasi po na mokili mobimba, po na mokili nyonso.
Crederò ancora nell'amore, perché abbiamo bisogno di più luce. Abbiamo bisogno di più luce, non di altri morti, non di nuove bombe, non di più potere.
سأقف من أجل الحب. سأقف من أجل الحب، لأننا نحتاج المزيد من النور. لأننا نحتاج المزيد من النور. كفانا موتى، كفانا سلطة، كفانا سلطة، تفانى قنابل سأقف من أجل الحب.
Voi prezerva iubirea astfel încât copiii să fie în siguranță, prietenii să fie la adăpost și granițele să rămână deschise. Любовь, моя крепость, даже с тяжелым сердцем, даже с
Voi
поломной
susține
душой.
iubirea, chiar dacă inima mi-e grea, chiar dacă sufletul mi-e
سأقف من
sfărmat.
أجل الحب. سأقف من أجل الحب.
Crederò ancora nell'amore e crederò per sempre
naponi
nell'amore.
bolingo ata motema ezali bozito ata molimo
Je
ezoki.
choisis l'amour, même le cœur lourd, même l'âme brisée. Je choisis l'amour.
Thanks for watching the Breakthrough Show Network. Today, we'd like to support our friend over at Nail Beauty by Brittany. Purchase your custom press-on Reiki-infused nails by visiting nailbeautybybrittany.com. Don't forget your discount by using the code BREAKTHROUGH. And now, back to the show. Welcome back to Project Joy Live. We're here with Joel Solomon this morning, getting our money mindset going. I'll tell you what, I'm uplifted this morning, Joel. I'm feeling that money happening.
Awesome. Yes, it's money comes easily and frequently is a great affirmation as well. Money comes easily and frequently. There was one client who heard it wrong and said money comes easally and infrequently. No, money comes easily and frequently. And so again, soften it if it doesn't feel right. If you're calling BS on yourself, money can come easily and frequently. Money often comes easily and frequently. But if you truly believe it, money comes easily and frequently.
Yeah. I love it. And again, I love his suggestion, you guys, to soften it, to change the word. You don't have to, anytime you hear any affirmation, you don't have to say you say it so it feels good for you, I think is the important thing. Obviously, Joel, we want everybody to visit your website, salormore.com. It's always a tongue twister for me. I try, but
you did it great. So just to let the listeners know, it's Lore for Lauren, Moore for Morgan, my two daughters. So it's Salormore, SALAURMOR.
Yes. So obviously they can find the book there, Joel, as well.
Yes, they can find the book there. Also, I wanted to give a free giveaway and raffle. So first of all, the giveaway, if you text to the number 66866 NMR for 9 money rules, you'll get a special report called The 5 Mistakes New Millionaires Make. Now, we haven't talked about acting as if, but if you want to act as if you're already a new millionaire, you can get this free report called The 5 Mistakes New Millionaires Make by texting to the number 66866 NMR for 9 money rules. And if you do that, I'm going to ask for your email. You'll also be entered into a raffle to win the whole book, personally signed and made out to you, the 9 Money Rules Millionaires you use for free.
Signed and made out to you, boys.
Oh, wow, look at that.
I know him. Yes, so you can text NMR to 66866. You can also find the book and more information. I think your link is there as well, where people can book a call with you, Joel, correct?
Yeah, right on the homepage. There, just scroll down a little bit, but click on the link and it'll sign, you can sign up right there for your free call.
Awesome. Highly recommend. And Joel has a lot of amazing things to share, wisdom to share. And so definitely take advantage of those different things. So we always end the show, Joel, with birthdays and celebrations. Do you know anybody that has a birthday today or anything in particular you're celebrating today?
Is today Bastille Day? June 14th or July 14th? No. So what am I celebrating? My Lauren is graduating from high school on Friday. So exciting and scary for her dad. She is going off to Syracuse University in
Nice.
a little over 2 months. So
Oh
we're
my gosh.
celebrating her this week, a major achievement to graduate from high school.
Very exciting. Congratulations to her and congratulations to you. It's the whole trek. I'll tell you, I know, I know these things. And I keep saying my phrase that I've been saying literally for 2 weeks is it's happening. I don't have any other phrase to say other than that, but it's happening. So it's happening, Joel.
It is.
So in birthday world today, we have a lot going on. Donald Trump's birthday is today. Boy George's birthday is today. Karma Chameleon. We need to listen to some Boy George music later on today, I think. Also, the celebrities in my life. Breakthrough Show alumni, drummer, and fabulous musician Troy Stone's birthday is today. Happy birthday, Troy. My friend Yazin's birthday is today. Breakthrough alumni, and I was on his show, I don't know, like 6 times. Back when he had it. Chris Burns' birthday is today. Happy birthday, Chris. And also our nephew Darwin passed away a while back, but his birthday was today. So wishing him happy birthday on the other side as well. Joel, are you going to sing with me this morning?
My daughter sings. I don't really sing. So if I had known, I would have gotten Lauren on, but she's an amazing singer. By the way, go to YouTube and you can watch Lauren as well in her a cappella concert last week.
Awesome. We would send me the link for that, Joel, and I will partake in that this afternoon. It'll raise my I love music. And I miss that was all I did in school was every music thing that I could be in. That's what I did. Okay, but now we do this, and here we go. Drum roll, please. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Donald Trump, Boy George, Troy Stone, Yazin, Christopher Burns, and Darwin Bond. Happy birthday to you. Yes. Happy birthday to everybody who's celebrating. Joel, thank you so much for being here with me again today. It was a lot of fun to have you on. And anything you'd like to leave with us this morning?
#doubt the doubt. Have faith in your dreams and desires. I believe in you. You can do this.
Love it. Thank you so much, Joel. And thank you to everybody who has been here in the audience this morning. I appreciate all of you so very much. Make sure you go and visit sallormore.com and find out more. You can also, again, text NMR to 66866 as well. Thank you all so much for being here. I'm your host, Jessica Dugas, and I want to remind you to make joy a priority in your life today and every day. We'll see you next time, everybody. Bye-bye.